Tonight what we're going to be doing is making a toothpick holder. And this is basically what we're going to be making. It's a very easy project. You can use any scrap wood you want. Mushroom top. I've made these for my kids, and I've actually made them for the different seasons. But this is the same thing with a top hat on it. I've made Christmas trees where half the Christmas tree comes apart and the toothpicks come out with that. I've made snowmen, a couple of things. My kids love these. All of my kids and myself were very much into cooking, so a lot of the stuff that I make for them has something to do with the kitchen or cooking or barbecuing or something like that. I'll show you some stuff that I've made at the end of the demo. All very easy projects. You could use small pieces of wood. You don't need to spend a ton of money. Where is the top? Oh, here it is. That goes. Okay, if you look behind me up here, I'll give you a quick reference as far as material size. For the head of the, it's 5 or 6 inches by 2.5 inches wide. That's for the head. 5 or 6 inches long. I like 6 inches long because one of the things with these mushrooms, if you make the top too big and you don't have enough weight in the bottom, it'll tip over. So 5 to 6 inch by 2.5 by 2.5 is for the body. You're going to need 1 1/8 inch Forstner bit. And I make mine with dowels and wooden wheels that I buy in Hobby Lobby. You can buy a bag of wooden dowels at Hobby Lobby. These are 3/16 for about $4. And then you could buy maple wheels for little race cars and stuff like that. They already have a cutout in them as a wheel, but these are real nice. It makes the project go real quick, and you get like 25 of them for $4. It makes the project go real quick. If you don't want to buy them maple little wheels, you can make it out of a small piece of wood if you want. But this makes it really nice and easy. When you're doing these toothpick holders, you start with the body. You don't start with the head because you're going to need the dimension of the rim of your toothpick holder to transfer it later on to the head. And when I say it, I don't know if they could zoom in on this, but inside the head, there's a cutout, and the body fits in that cutout so that the head doesn't move around when it's sitting on the shelf. Otherwise, when it sits on the shelf, it's not going to be straight. It's going to be crooked. So there's a little cutout. I use a parting tool to make that, and I'll be doing that tonight. But you do that so it sort of like locks it onto the top without spinning all over the place. I'll get my mask. Okay. Couple of things when I first started making these. I'm just going to turn this round, and before I even start turning it into the body, I'm going to drill it out for that hole. The first time I measured the toothpicks, and there's different brands of toothpicks, or some are longer. Cocktail toothpicks are a little bit longer. I made it as deep as the toothpicks, but I forgot to add the thickness of the wheel, the little wooden thing on the bottom that's carved out. So when I went to put it in, it was staying 1/2 inch above the top. So I had after it was all carved and all that stuff, I had to figure out a way to go down another 1/2 inch. The body here, most of mine are going to be 3.5 inches deep. That's 1 1/8 hole. I'll drill the hole first, and then I'll shape the thing into the body that I want. You can make it wider. One thing I will give you a little warning: don't make your mushroom heads too small. Otherwise, it's going to look like something that shouldn't be in the kitchen. That's a nice way of saying it. The other thing is I like to have a 6-inch block of wood rather than 5 because I like to have more weight at the bottom so that it doesn't wobble when it's sitting on a shelf or it's not easily knocked over. This is a piece of bottle brush that I got 2 years ago. It's been sitting in my garage. I just got rid of the edges. It's not perfectly round yet, but I want to leave as much meat as I can when I. Just a little tip I always keep at all my Forstner bit extensions. I always keep the Allen key with a rubber band around it, so I don't lose that Allen key. I always have it with it. But more importantly, after you tighten up your bit, tape the holes where the Allen keys are. Because these Allen keys, these little screws, have a tendency to come out, and when they fly, try finding them when you have all the shavings on the floor. So I'm a retired electrician. I used extensions, drilling holes in houses and wood, and I learned at an early age, make sure you don't lose those screws, because the thing is no good without the screws. I have a little gauge. I'm going to set this at 3.5 inches. Frank, you know where the Allen key is for this? For that chuck. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, for this chuck. I think this is, yeah, this is it. No, that's not it. It'll be in here somewhere. One thing with Forstner bits, and I've seen it happen on construction sites, and many times, people go too fast with them. Speed kills the Forstner bit, and they don't clean out the holes. You don't want a tremendous amount of speed with a Forstner bit. It's not like a twist drill bit. It has to be able to get that wood out of there, and you don't want this to turn blue and lose the temper of the teeth that are on it, because then you have to heat it up and then dip it in water and get the temper back. So I highly recommend that you go slow when you're doing it, and go in and come out. Constantly keep cleaning your hole. I normally go in the thickness of the Forstner bit head, and then I pull it out, which is normally about 1/2 inch. Can't hear you. Can't hear me? I'm happy with how you are. Is that better? Nope. Okay, hold on. Better now? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Still good? Yep, still good. Okay. So I normally go in about 1/2 inch and clean it out. If you go in too fast with a Forstner bit, you're either going to see smoke or you won't see sawdust coming out. If you see smoke, you're going too fast or you're pushing too hard. Now, if you happen to have a mini lathe, don't try pushing a big bit through the wood. What you're going to do is, if you have a mini lathe, while this is spinning, do the first ½ inch. Just go in a ½ inch. Take it out. Use a 3/4 inch or a ½ inch bit. Make a bunch of passes, because those mini lathes, that little 3/4 horsepower motor isn't strong enough to push this whole bit in all at once. Save yourself a lot of effort. Make multiple cuts. I don't the proper chuck key for this. Next thing I want to do while it's in this shape, before I start spinning it down into the base, I'm going to sand the inside. I got 120 sandpaper with a wood dowel. And when you put sandpaper on the dowel, just in case you don't know, roll it the same way that it's spinning. It'll tighten up on the dowel instead of loosen up. While it's at this stage, I want to true up this and square up this edge while I still have a lot of meat here. If you do it when it's thin, it might shatter or it might crack. Take my sanding block. What? Oh, the microphone's not working? Working now?
Yeah, it's working. Face shield.
Oh, face shield. Well, when I was drilling and doing this, but now I'll put my face shield on. When I'm turning this, I'm looking for, you don't want to make this too thin because you want it to sit inside your groove that you make in the head. The wider it is, the more stable it is. So I make it about 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch, somewhere around there. It really doesn't make a difference. wrong one. Need the bigger one. I want to take some of the wobble out of it. It's a little long. This will make it less wobbly and cut a little cleaner. Much better. Little gate, here it is. I'm going to put a pencil mark on here at the bottom of my hole. And then I'm going to put a mark. I'm actually going to go in with the cutting tool and start where I want. By having this line here and knowing where my base is, that helps me form my curve for the bottom of the base. Good. And when I'm doing this, I'm not pulling with my arms. I'm leaning with my body. There's one spot I don't like. Oh, this is already... Much better. Now I'm down to 320. And here's the base that I made. When I do the bottom, I make it a little concave so that it'll sit a little bit nicer. And this is the dimension that I need to transfer to the top. So this is the base. I've got about maybe 2 inches of solid wood in the bottom, so it's definitely heavy on the bottom, and it won't tip over that easy. That's the base. You don't have to make toothpick holders. You can actually make mushrooms this size and make lawn ornaments out of them. It looks pretty in your front lawn or in your gardens. Don't need this. In making the head, a lot of it depends on what type of equipment is available to you. I'm going to make the curve. Let me get the. I'm going to make the curve like this. And then I'm going to after I make this, I'm going to put it on a vacuum chuck and I'm going to cut the inside. If you don't have a vacuum chuck, it's very easy. What you do is you do this side first, and you make this and you part it off, and you might have to sand this part. You can make it either way. I'm fortunate enough now, when I first made it, my first couple, I had to make them this way. But now I have a vacuum chuck. I like to make them, after I make the curve, I'll put the vacuum chuck on it and do the inside. Still hear me good? Volume is good and everything?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, Charlie.
Okay. Got to move my tool rest a little. One of the things that's nice about belonging to a club like this is you have such expert turners that can give you advice. And I'm going to give a little shout out to Jim Weeks. When I first started coming to Sarasota Wood Turners, Jim lives relatively close to me. I went over there and he showed me how to make pens. And one day we were working on a bowl and I started roughing it out, and my gouge was bouncing all over the place. And he says, wait a minute, Charlie. He says, there's a much easier way. He says, come in from the edge and come in instead of starting in the middle and going this way and then going this way. He says, if you start from the edge, you'll only have about 10 seconds of bouncing. And then once you get into the side, he says, you just follow the bevel, and he says, it'll come off. So my hat's off to Jim Weeks for teaching me that little trick, because I bounced around for 3 years before he told me that little trick. I like to hollow out the back of the head while it's in this position a little bit, because while it's got the tailstock up against it, I can put a little bit more pressure than when I put it on the vacuum chuck. And I've got it almost to where I want it. I could fine tune it later on, but I'm not going to have to put a lot of pressure on it. And I'm also going to do some sanding now, and then I'll just come here with a parting tool and just take that little tip off. Slow it down, slow it down. That's better. Where's the rod to knock this off, Frank? Or I want to knock this out. Oh, okay. Oh, that's a cool idea. Get one of those. And that's going to be my mushroom head. What I have to do now is I have to get rid of this and make this, transfer the diameter of this onto this. But before I do that, there's one other thing. I'm going to be putting a 3/16 dowel inside of this. And while I still have my center hole, I'm going to drill for that now. I measured the thickness. Where's my ruler? And I'm going to make it 1/4 of an inch less than that, so I don't go through the top. I'm going to make that like probably 1.5 inches. Okay. Now, if I was home, I'd do this on the drill press, but for demonstrations tonight, I'm going to use a hand drill. The good thing about it is that the hole is already there. Oh. I want to see if my dowel fits in there nice. Where's the valve? Oh, there it is. You could still hear me good? I had a pencil over here. I drew the diameter of this inside here. Gotta go a little more. So before I make the rest of it, that's going to sit there nice and it's not going to wobble. No, I want to lock it. Frank, do you have one of those? I think I have it in my little bag. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. I think this will fit. I could use that one. It don't make a difference. That's still. Yes, I can use it. Okay. These are the wheels that I got at Hobby Lobby. You could see that they already have an indentation in them for the wheel. I'm just going to make that a lot deeper, and I'm going to make the wheel a lot smaller. By making this deeper, that'll hold the toothpicks, and it's already got a 3/16 hole in it. Okay. I'm going to measure the hole. And I have to make that wheel smaller than that. Where's my face shield? Where did my face shield go? Has to be around here somewhere. Oh, there it is in the corner. A little bit more. Think that's going to be good. No, touch more. Hmm. Yes. Okay. Now you can see I dug that out a little bit more so that the toothpicks can sit in there. Just make sure this fits in here. Okay. I take tin snips or dikes. If I glued this together, made the stick a little too long. As the finished product.
All right.
Now,
Good.
as far as finishes go, these were all done with the Beal system. Again, Jim Weeks taught me how to do it. Simple project. Your toothpick goes in here, you drop it down. When you want a toothpick, you lift it up, and it's done. Now, I do a lot of smalls for my kids. So you had show and tell before. I'm just going to show you some of the things that I have done. My kids, like I said, they all love cooking. So I made them all salt boxes. Instead of when they want to throw salt in something, they have the salt inside, and they don't have to go to a box or a salt shaker all the time. We had a gentleman here today, and he wanted to know about pepper mills. I just happen to have this one. This is a combination pepper mill. It grinds the pepper on one side, and it's a salt shaker on the other side. I use 2 different colored woods, so the dark is the pepper, the light is the salt. But there's projects that you can make that are so much fun and so quick to make. This is a microplane for your kitchen. I made each one of my kids one of these, and they loved it. I got it at Chef's Kits or Chef Supply. I think it's Chef's Kits. This is a vegetable peeler. Extremely sharp. It's got a porcelain, no, not porcelain, ceramic blade on it. Extremely sharp. It'll never dull. And my kid's all-time favorite is a simple ice cream scoop. I told them when I made it, I'll be dishing out the fun long after I'm gone. The next lesson I give you is going to be a real tough one. It's making the toothpicks. That's a real tough one. You have to have a real sharp tool, and you have to have a real steady hand, and that'll be another lesson. But that's pretty much it as far as making them. You could take the tops, and you can even stain the sides and just color the top. It doesn't get much easier than that. It's an inexpensive project to make. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you, everybody.